So today we are having a chat with Jennifer Henderson. Jenny is a content creator. And Jenny, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how we would find you on social?
Okay. My name is Jennifer. I go by Jen or Jennifer. A lot of people call me Jenny. I am a travel content creator, but I also do some other things. And you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook under Red Lips and Passports.
All right, Red Lips and Passport. So how did you come up with that name?
So it's funny because initially I had a blog called My Product Addiction. And while I was running my product addiction, I took my first international trip. And when I got back, I was like, gosh, I've really got to I got to tell all the people about how I was able to travel on a budget. And I needed to find a way to merge my passion for travel with my love of beauty products. I thought about it. I glanced in the mirror and I seen I had red lipstick on. And while I'm looking in the mirror, I'm on a call with a creative coach trying to help me work through it. And I was like, how about red lips and passports? Aha.
I see you got those red lips on this morning.
Always a red lip.
So tell us a little bit about your journey as a creator.
I technically started being a creator back in, I think, 2015 or 2016 when I initially started my blog. But this was prior to Instagram and TikTok becoming what it is today. Please excuse my dog in the background. Is prior to what it became today. But then I used to watch YouTube a lot, and I thought the only way to be a creator was through YouTube, right? Fast forward, I created the Red Lips and Passports Instagram page. I posted a bunch. I wasn't really growing. I didn't really know how to grow, blah, blah, blah. And so I just was like, nah, I'm not going to do anything with, I'm just like, I guess I'll just never grow, whatever. So anyway, fast forward to 2020, we're all stuck in the house, obviously, because of what I call the pepperoni. We are stuck in the house because of pepperoni. And I discovered this girl's Instagram page and her content was so good. So I sent her a message and I was like, hey, do you offer like a course to teach people how to make their content more engaging like yours is? And she was like, oh yeah. No, I'm sorry. She didn't say, oh yeah. She said, no one has ever asked her that. She asked me how much I was willing to invest in a course like that. So I told her how much I would invest. We spent a Saturday over Zoom. She showed me all of these different ways to make my content more engaging. And within 3 months, I had landed my first brand deal.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what inspired you to start creating content in the first place?
I think that it was because of one of the common misconceptions about travel is that you have to spend a lot of money to travel. I knew that I wanted to find a way to share all of the different ways to travel without breaking the bank. And I had seen all of these other travel content creators that were showing like, oh, I'm in Bali. Oh, I'm here. I'm here. But they weren't really showing how they got there, how much it cost. They weren't sharing about credit card points and rewards and stuff like that. So I was like, I got to find a way to share this with my community. And so I started content creating that way.
Oh, that's awesome. So you mentioned that you got your first brand deal.
Mm-hmm.
What is getting a brand deal? What's involved to get a brand deal?
So at that time, I didn't really put any work into getting brand deals. Brands were just reaching out to me. So one effective way to get brands to reach out to you is one, make sure that you're creating genuine, organic content. Even if it's not like a sponsored post, if you love Febreze, post about how much you love Febreze, show how you use Febreze in your everyday life, interact with the Febreze brand on Instagram or on social media, tag them in your products, tag them in your videos, etc. But for me, particularly that first brand deal I got, I had one key thing is to have your email in your bio, right? And this is specifically from getting a brand deal through Instagram, right? Instagram, you should definitely have your email in your bio. I know that Instagram offers a feature where you can have a button on your profile to email, which is fine. However, when brands are finding you, they are on their computer. And on the computer version of the desktop version of Instagram, there is no option for that button, right? So if you don't have that button, there's no way for them to contact you because they're probably not going to slide in your DMs for collaboration. As I've grown, what I have learned is the importance of having a media kit, a pitch deck, and understanding how to send a pitch email to a brand. And that is a way to that is one of the best ways to get a brand deal.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So what's been your favorite brand deal so far?
Oh gosh. Ooh, that's hard because I've enjoyed so many of them. Most recently, I'm excited about the perfume fragrance brands that I've worked with. And
Okay.
I know that's like a long stretch from travel, but on TikTok, I solely focus on lifestyle and beauty content. And so I post a lot of fragrance content. I've become extremely passionate about that. So it's really exciting to have some sponsored posts from that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. You mentioned that you were on different platforms. Is there one that you focus on primarily?
I primarily focus I'm most active on Threads, TikTok, and Instagram. I do a little bit on Facebook, but I find that I don't get the most attention from Facebook. And I also find that the brands that I'm working with don't even ask about your Facebook page. So I just focus mostly on those three. Instagram is more like travel and lifestyle. And like I said, TikTok is more beauty and lifestyle.
Tell us a little bit about your process for creating content.
Lately, because life is very hectic, I rely heavily on ChatGPT for ideas on engaging content. I also get inspiration from other travelers or other content creators. If I post something that was inspired by them, I make sure that I tag this was inspired by someone. But I spend probably one day a week as for a content day. And that's a day where I'm like shooting videos, creating reels, creating graphics, coming up with a list of ideas that I want to do. And so throughout the week, I'll come up with a list of ideas that I have for content. And then on that Sunday, typically my content day is Sunday. On that Sunday, I'll take 5 ideas off of that list and create the content from that.
Gotcha. So you pre-schedule your content basically?
I don't necessarily pre-schedule it because I feel like lately the pre-scheduler has been not working. It's been posting it. I'll say 5 o'clock and it'll post it right then. So I have not been pre-scheduling, but I just have a timer set when I know like, okay, I want to post content at this time and I'll just already have it drafted. So all I have to do is hit post.
So tell us a little bit about, is this how you see yourself growing? Is this a side gig? Is this your full-time gig? And where do you see yourself going with this?
As far as content, I think that it will always be a side gig. I feel like the industry is becoming a bit more oversaturated now. And so it's a little bit harder to make the money that I was making before. I'm still making good money, but it's a little harder to make the money that I was making before. And that could be just because of the current state of the economy right now. I'm not really sure. But I have found I have other talents that I've been using to tap into to make additional money, whether it be teaching people how to create content, creating graphics for other people's content, hosting workshops, and also doing press trips.
Okay. So how do you stay engaged with your community, or how do you foster engagement with your community?
I find it that I like to be really relatable. I treat everybody as if they're my best friend, which kind of causes a little bit of trouble because some people think that we really are best friends. But I just make it so that I'm easily accessible, easily reachable. And because I always said some of my favorite content creators don't respond, right? They don't respond to emails, they don't respond to comments. I always said I will always engage until I can't engage anymore. If I reach the millions, okay, it's probably going to be really hard for me to try to engage, but I always make everyone feel, even if I run into people in public, I'm like, I always give them a hug. Like when they say, oh, I follow you on Instagram, I give them a hug. I make them feel special. I make them feel like I'm approachable. So you can slide in my DM and ask me anything within reason.
That's pretty awesome. So the with social media algorithms, and they're always changing, right?
Oh
So
my,
how do
yeah.
you adapt when that happens?
Post the content. My motto is whoever needs to see it will see it, right? Algorithms are bad for your mental health. And so I just have found that it's what works best for me is to not even think about it. I know the algorithm is trash. We know the CEO of Instagram won't acknowledge that the algorithm is trash. We on the other apps, don't acknowledge that the algorithm is trash. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm posting content. Whoever needs to see the content will see it. It might only have 200 views, but guess what? Brand deals are still coming in. Opportunities are still coming in.
That's pretty cool. You mentioned before that you have gotten feedback from other creators before. How do you collaborate with other creators?
Um, Threads. Threads has become for those who don't know what Threads is, it is Meta's version of X, formerly known as Twitter. It has become an amazing community for creators to like collab. There are some ways where I thought that I was alone, right? Oh, this is only happening to me. And then I'll see someone post like X, Y, and Z just happened. I'm like, whoa, I thought it was only me. I'll post and say something like, hey guys, if I'm posting an affiliate link, do I need to disclose it as an ad or something like that? And 10 people who aren't even following me will be like, hey, here's a resource for if you need to know like how to disclose things. Also, I frequently connect with creators in my community, my physical community being in the DC area. The content creator community is fairly small. However, for the most part, everyone I've met has been extremely friendly, and it's easy to bounce ideas off of each other. It's also easy to share opportunities with each other. And so that's been a really good way for me to be able to connect. Another way to connect is I often get invited to influencer events, which allows me to meet other creators and we'll like connect, bounce ideas off of each other and be like, oh, hey, I got invited to such and such. Do you want to be my plus one? Stuff like that.
So have you thought about, you mentioned the algorithms being trash. Have you ever thought about ways to, or you even wanted to try to get your audience off of social media at all?
So yes, I'm actually in the process of creating. I took a like course recently and the lady said, social media crashes. What do you do? How do you continue to engage your community? And I was like, hey, like, how do you engage your community? And so I started thinking about it, newsletters and creating an email list, having a newsletter, maybe doing a podcast or other realms. Without having a personal assistant, it's hard to manage everything, but I am slowly working on finding other ways to engage my community outside of social media. Plus, long form content is making a comeback. So people are more prone to reading blogs and ebooks and things like that. So I'm going to focus on that as well.
How do you measure success of your content?
If I get one person that says, thank you for this, that is successful to me.
All right. So looking ahead, what trends or developments do you anticipate with social media?
Paying for your content to be successful, meaning like paying to boost your posts. I also, like I said before, also long form content. And I think those are the two biggest ones that I see right now.
And so do you have any regrets as a creator or anything that you feel like you would do differently if you were doing it over again?
I would have jumped on the TikTok bandwagon in 2020. Yep.
Do you have a bigger following on TikTok than you do on Instagram?
Nope, it's about the same, but I had one viral reel in 2020 for TikTok. And if I would have just stayed I had that viral reel and then I didn't post again for 3 years, I probably would have had a much bigger community. And at that time, the TikTok checks were way bigger than the Instagram checks. Oh, I'm sorry. Another trend? Snapchat. Apparently, Snapchat is where the money is. And who knew people were still using Snapchat? Oh, but yeah, Snapchat is where the money is. I also would have started my Snapchat. Maybe I should get on that.
Do you have any advice for new creators?
Yes. My best advice for new creators is to not be afraid to pay for a course with a reputable creator that you have seen have success, or not even a reputable creator. There are so many people out here offering digital courses for engaging content and things like that. I would definitely sign up for something like that. I would make sure that I have my email address in my bio. I would read the book Influencer by Brittany Hennessy. Some of the tips are outdated as far as hashtags, but there's a lot of relevant information in that book. And it's really what helped me get started. I also would make sure that you have a media kit, even if you do not have any sponsored content yet. Have a media kit locked, loaded, and ready, because you can say, here are some brands I prefer to work with. Don't be afraid to do a gifted collab, because gifted collabs lead to paid collabs, and you can use that for your media kit. And your media kit is like your digital resume almost. Because a lot of times brands will say, like, we'd like to know who you work with. We like to know what your rates are. A tool that I like to use for rates, and you should use it too, as I use it, the Inspire app. For me, it gives me like the base price of what I should charge for content based on my engagement. I don't charge what they say, but I'm like, okay, I should be charging no less than this amount, but I do go up a bit higher. Research the apps that give gifted collabs, Skeepers, the Social Cat, Shopify collabs, Aspire. There's so many out there that will give you gifted collabs with brands that you've heard of. And so you can collaborate with like JLo Beauty, Yankee Candles has one currently, different hotels, Rent the Runway is on there, just various different things, products you've heard of, products you probably already use in your day-to-day life. You can collab with them that way, and that will help you lead you to paid collabs. But also beware of scams, and I cannot stress this enough. There are so many scammers out there. I almost got scammed recently, but thankfully I was like, oh, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. You should never be paying someone for you to create content for them or for you to be a guest on their show. You should never be paying for that. You should never be disclosing financial information. The most that you should be given is an address and your email address for PayPal. Like, you don't have to give out your Zelle information, your phone information. You don't have to do any of that. And there's so many people out here that are saying it's a scam. And to give you an example, let's say you post something about Marriott, and then you'll get an email, collaboration with Marriott. Look at the email address first. Because if it says marriottcollabs@gmail.com, do you really think Marriott is using a Gmail account? But I can't tell you the number of people that have told me that they got scammed by a brand because of something like that. So those are like my top things.
I appreciate the tips on what to actually watch out for too with those scams.
Yes. And if I can share, what happened to me recently was I had a post go viral on Instagram. And I got this email, and it was like a TV opportunity, right? And I was like, oh, wow. And it was like, I looked at their YouTube page. I was like, oh, wow, this is legit. And they were like, we love your content. We see what you're doing. We've been watching you. We would love to have you on our show. So I'm like, oh yeah, great. This is exciting. And they scheduled a meeting with me. And little did I know that the way that they schedule their meeting is a tactic to get you, right? So maybe an hour before the meeting, they were like, hey, Jennifer, we're looking forward to meeting with you. But I'm sorry, the day that we're supposed to meet, I got like 20 alerts, like notifications, reminder. I'm like, yo, I got ADHD, but I don't need this many reminders that like I have an interview, a discovery call coming up. And so she was like, they sent an email an hour before, and they was like, hey, Jennifer, we're excited to meet with you, but we need you to watch this video before you join the call. So I'm like, okay. So the video was like 8 minutes long. Remember I told y'all I got ADHD, right? I'm like, yo, I am in the middle of my workday. I don't have time to sit here and watch this 8-minute video. So I watched it. It just was repeating the same thing over and over again. But I wish I would have watched it all the way to the end, because I would have seen that they were charging like $750 for me to be on this show. And the show is broadcast in 3 different major markets. It was like DC, Houston, and Miami, on a major network, though, a network that we've all heard of before. And so the time comes for the call, nobody calls. So I'm like, dang, I guess I missed my opportunity because I responded late to the email about the video that I needed to watch. The lady calls me actually 45 minutes later, which was a tactic, right? That was a tactic. So as she's telling me, we're going to do this, we're going to shoot a commercial, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. And she said, which market do you want to be in? And I was like, can I be in all of them? She was like, yeah, you can be in all of them. And because of your enthusiasm, I'm going to give you a 20% discount. Discount on what? That's when I realized that they were charging $750 per interview, right? Yeah. Each market.
Mhm.
And when I posted about it on Threads, multiple people said, "Oh, this must be X, Y, and Z. They got me too. They got me too." And it was like my most interactive with post on Threads. Thousands of people have been scammed by these people.
Wow. So are they actually even doing an interview or anything at all? Or they basically are just taking people's money?
No, they're doing the interview. You just have to pay for it. Like they have clips of people actually paying to do the interview. But I'm like, ma'am, with the way social media engagement is, even if I paid you this $750, there is no guarantee. There is no guarantee that I will reach all of these markets on through social media with the commercials and the reels and all of that. So I'm absolutely not. I could invest $750 to boost my post on Meta.
Well, that's awesome. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. Again, Red Lips and Passports is Jen, if you want to follow her on Instagram, TikTok, and
Oh, and Threads, all Red Lips and Passports.
Red Lips and Passports. But thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.